at something, just naturally we tend to avoid it. But doesn't that get on your nerves? For me, when I watch other people do something that I can't do, but deep down inside, I know I can, it makes me feel that I'm not good enough, or it makes me feel that they are better than me. Can you relate to this?
Mm-hmm.
For 21 years, I couldn't swim. I could get into the water, but I had to be near the edge, or it had to be within 5 feet. I was scared of going to the deep end because I was scared of drowning, of panicking, of not having control over my life. But the whole idea of getting into the water didn't really bother me because I grew up in the city. We had the malls and the movies, the sushi restaurants, the karaoke bars. We had plenty of things to do on land. And this was all during high school. After I graduated high school, I decided to get into the Marine Corps. And in the Marines, in order to graduate boot camp, you have to pass a swim qualification. There are 4 levels. There's 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. If you pass 4th, that means you get to move up. And if you pass 1st swim qualification, that means you're a strong swimmer. And naively, at the time, I thought to myself, I'm a strong young man. I should be able to swim 1st qualification. Sadly, I was mistaken. As soon as I jumped into the water, I quickly realized it was going to take a miracle if I were to pass 4th. Part of the test, you have to swim 25 meters. I couldn't get past 10. I started to sink. I started to panic. I thrashed about. I swallowed half a canteen full of water. And it was just a horrible experience. It was indeed traumatizing. It's an experience that I'll remember for the rest of my life. And it was a banal experience. Uninspiring, definitely. So I made it a point that I was going to learn how to swim. What really ticked me off was not the feeling of almost dying in that pool. What really ticked me off was watching people before me and after me do the same program in the same pool with ease and with confidence, and they didn't even break a sweat. So I made a decision that I was going to learn how to be a proficient swimmer. I was going to learn how to swim. So after I got out of the Marine Corps, I made that decision to be a proficient swimmer. My plan was I was going to go over to the community pool, and I strapped on my green trunks, and I would touch the community pool gate, and every time I would swim, I would just add 2 more laps to every session. I started with 3 laps in the beginning. I didn't do too well, but I just added 2 more every time I went. Then 5, then 7, then 9, and so on. My goal was to hit 50 laps, and after 7 months, I hit 51 laps in one session. By that time, I was able to do the freestyle, the side stroke, the backstroke, and the breaststroke. I was able to swim underwater for 50 meters in just 1 breath. I think if I were to go back in time and do boot camp all over again, maybe I'd be able to do 1st swim qualification. I think that would be a great experience. What I want to convey is that you and I are just regular people. We both have arms and legs. And if I was able to accomplish something that I've never done before, something that I've been scared of for almost all my life, that means it's possible that if you followed a similar system, that you could apply yourself and you could achieve something you've never achieved in your life. Something that even now you might even be scared of. And this is the similar system that I applied. If you apply it in your own variation, then you could accomplish something magnificent. Number 1, I made a decision to be a proficient swimmer. I made a decision to achieve something. And that's the most important thing. You make a decision to achieve something that you always want to get, or erase a fear that you've always had in your life. Number 2 was I made a plan that was practical and basic. I just added 2 more laps every time I went to the pool. Number 3, I learned techniques and skills along the way. See, if you want to start a journey, you have to take the first steps, even if you don't have the necessary tools at first. you'll gather them along the way. Because if you sit down and try to gather all the tools and techniques in the beginning, you may never take the first step to actually go on the journey. And as you go on the journey and you gather tools, you begin to build up momentum. So number 4, if you keep building up the momentum and focus on your goal and keep moving towards it and adjusting your actions to get better along the way, eventually you will achieve your goal. And when you do achieve it, number 5, celebrate. My celebration was I went over to Ginny Springs, which is near Gainesville, Florida, and they have beautiful clear water. It goes 30 feet deep within the springs. I could swim now, so it was fantastic. They have underwater caves. It's magically blue, and I just had a ball. A great man, his name is Jack Valente, he once said that learning is work. Work is a gateway to achievement, and achievement may prompt one of the most exciting feelings you may ever feel. So now I invite you to challenge yourself to take a journey that you've never taken before. It will be a journey to remember, because a year or 2 years, 5 years from now, you'll be able to look back and say to yourself, I did that. And one achievement leads to another. And by the time you know it, by the end of your life, after years and years of achievements, you'd be able to look back and say, I lived a full life. And a full life is something that you and I and everyone else here deserves. So why don't we step out there into the unknown and give it a try. Mr. Toastmaster.